Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome back. If you've been listening to us, it's Press Play again. As always, as I always say, it's Bailey.
I'm
And
glad you had
joined
to
with
correct
me,
yourself on that.
I always say it, and I'm like, I gotta say something else eventually, but
This needs to be
whatever.
slightly different so people don't start thinking I'm a robot.
Yeah. Oh God, I didn't even think of that. But always with me as well is Matthew Austin and Omar Zaki.
Always, baby. Always.
Always. They're so reliable in my life, you know? Every time we record, they're there.
You join the channel and we're just sitting here.
Yeah.
Do you ever think
But
we never leave and it's just you? You know what? Even deeper question. Do you guys ever think that y'all are the only people alive and everybody else is just like popping in and
I
out of your-
have
Yeah.
thought about
what
that
the
before.
hell?
Honest to God, have.
When I was a
Get
kid,
that
I
shit
convinced
outta
myself
here.
of that.
I
Like
swear to
did.
God, dude. I think about that all the time.
Yeah. I think
Really?
that's how
That's so-
assholes'
That's like
brains
creepy
work.
as hell.
You know what I mean? They're just like, I'm the only person that matters. I'm going to be a dick to everybody.
No, not that I'm the only one that matters. Just think, okay, like I know you guys. I know what you're up to only when I hear from you guys. So it's my like,
Right.
It's what I'm seeing.
We're all part of your world.
It's almost like
But-
WandaVision, dude. Once
Yeah,
you
we're
guys
just
are out of
living
my
in it.
fucking reach, you're just like
Damn.
standing still. If
We're just
even.
like,
Is it sad
that.
that when you said that's how assholes think, I for some reason immediately just thought you meant like an actual asshole.
I
And
did
so
too.
I was
Does
like,
your
I don't know where
asshole-
this is going.
Does
I
your
did too,
asshole
just
have a
because of the
brain in it?
conversation we were having prior about embryos and what comes first, the
Oh my
soul or the
God.
body. And
We have, if
Weird
you
shit.
can't tell, we have very deep discussions before we start talking about movies with everyone
Yeah, 5
else.
minutes before we start this, we like to huddle up and just like have really deep heart to hearts with each other.
it's
And
a
so far,
hype
it's worked.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah, it does get
absolutely.
us hype.
It's real sick. But yeah, we are here not to talk about that kind of stuff, but to continue our discussion of the Peter Jackson joint, The Lord of the Rings. This is The Two Towers.
Oh my God.
I'm super stoked to talk about it. But
The
before we
Two
get into that,
Towers.
I might as well say, please follow us and like us and subscribe to us on literally anything you can do that we are on, which would be YouTube, or social medias, which aren't Facebook still and probably never will be, but is Twitter at Again Press and Instagram at Press Play Again. We are gonna start posting soon, so you might as well join it now and like us and be
We
involved
warned you.
and comment on
Little
things.
boys
and
and girls.
we'll okay, and we'll
Is
like
that too
it.
much?
And then also just if you want to listen to us and not watch us, which I understand completely, you can on Spotify, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, and most importantly, Apple Podcasts. And give us 5 stars, please.
Please.
It's like I'm far away. And comment and leave us anything because we love talking back to people. So do it, you know? But yeah, so we're here. And we're ready to talk about these two towers, not one, but also another one. And this will be a thing that we are going to continue to do, like we did with Fellowship of the Ring. For next Tuesday, we're going to have the Return of the King for you guys because it has been a blast watching these movies in IMAX in theaters. Because Lord knows we do nothing else.
I've known you
So-
for a while, and I thought you were going to take the opportunity to say next Tuesday we're going to be returning with Return of the King. And
Fuck.
Yeah,
I
a little
feel
let
like
down.
I always do that where I always have a great setup and I don't think about it till like probably 10 minutes later. Not even immediately.
The-
Just 10 minutes later it pops in my head.
The
So
crazy
that's
thing is,
cool.
though, how badly you want transitions and you'll force them sometimes when they're
I
really
do.
not there. But then when the perfect one, like when the stars align for you, you just gloss over it. You're
Completely.
just
All I
like,
know
let's keep
is
going.
There's going to be a time where I have the most perfect transition. Probably better than anyone else in this universe could do. And I'm going to be really proud of it. And it's going to be that one and only time. And then other than that, I'm just going to force it because that's how I live my life. So-
I'm here
That's
for
the
it.
Bailey way.
Yeah, exactly. So, but okay, now that all that nonsense is over with, let's talk about this motherfucking movie because awakened. Yes, there we go. I almost said awoken, like some noob. Can I say noob?
Some
Am I too
noob.
old for that now?
No, dude.
No, noob always applies.
No, I love this movie so much. I'm just automatically diving into the reactions that we're gonna have for this. But I just love this movie, and I was so excited to see little Matthew react into this movie.
I was
Youngin.
like a giddy little boy in the theater.
He was. So, I mean, I don't know how y'all feel about all of this though. So
I
you know what?
hated it.
Y'all just take the lead.
I hated it. It was
All
all an
right. Well,
act.
I think I think Matthew should start off since he's the newest viewer,
Yeah,
the newest member of the audience.
yeah, of the Lord of the Rings audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, all jokes aside, I did not hate it. I actually think this might be one of the best movies that I've ever seen. And I'm sort of in shock at myself for just never watching it up until now, or more so that I actually have seen this before in 2 parts, and I kind of just brushed it off, and I was like, I don't know about this Lord of the Rings thing. um,
What
but
a
no,
fool.
like seriously, to me this was I really did like Fellowship of the Ring, but this is where it clicked for me, like full in. Like you understand the gravity of everything that's going on finally in this one. You really start to care about the characters. Namely Aragorn, because he's basically just Jesus. And how do you not love Jesus? um, but no, and then truthfully, the last hour of this movie, that battle, that actually I can say is just the most badass battle that I've ever seen in like a movie, TV show. Like Game of Thrones, get the fuck out of here. Uh, Bailey's brother Mike, when we were leaving the theater, was like, he said that when they were filming season 8 of Game of Thrones, how they were comparing the Battle of Winterfell that we were about to see in that season to the battle that's at the end of Two Towers, and just why would you ever do that? Why would like they just checked out at that point. They were setting
100% set
themselves up.
themselves up to
Yeah,
fail.
there's just no way, no fucking way. But yeah, I adored this. I'm sure we'll get into more of it in a second, but just initial thoughts. This is my favorite. I don't care how good Return of the King is; it cannot beat this.
Nah, man, no
And I'm ready to
fucking
eat my
way.
words. I really am.
I'm ready for
Okay,
you to
okay.
do it too.
Then what'd you feel, Omar? Since Return
Um,
of the King.
Yeah, so okay, let me just say, Return of the King was the last Lord of the Ring movie I saw. No, sorry, it was obviously it's the fucking last in the trilogy. I saw it once
Yeah,
in
I thought it'd
theater,
be good to end with that one.
and I loved it. But since then, I've obviously seen the first two, but I haven't seen any of those movies in the past like maybe 12 to 15 years, honestly.
Oh
Um,
shit.
yeah, so growing up, I always liked Two Towers the least, honestly, out of all three. And if it was for reasons I think because of maybe my age at the time. Um, to me, Fellowship was so awesome, and I love like the whole like I love even when it comes to video games, I love playing multiplayer games just because I love the whole team aspect of things. And Fellowship had that right, and it was literally like one plot in Fellowship. We were
Yeah, like
following
they're all
Frodo,
together and
Sam. Right. In this movie, there's like fucking 4 different plots. Watching this as a kid, I got very overwhelmed and I was just very anxious and I was like, oh my God, I want Frodo and Sam to, like reunite with this, that. And I wasn't too much of a fan. Watching it yesterday with you guys, many moons later,
15
uh,
moons.
15 moons to be exact. Holy fuck. Wild, wild. First of all, yeah, it blew my mind exactly like Matthew said, man, everything just weighs a lot more in this movie. Everything just means a lot more in this movie. Um, and seeing all the characters like interact with each other and that last fight. I mean, we haven't had any movies of those like of that large of a scale, right? Even in the MCU, man, like the movies are never that crazy, except obviously like the last two or three, right?
Is it
Like the
sad that I was thinking, like, and I love Endgame, but the battle at the end of this has
right,
so much more going on. Like, the battle of
right,
Endgame is exactly what it needs to be because it is just supposed to be hype and cool, and the heroes just coming back and, the good side winning. There's not really
Right.
supposed to be a lot of losses and stuff like that, except for Tony. Fucking rest in peace. Um, but like this is just so much more like intricate and like just you feel everything going on, and there's like little losses that they like suffer like throughout the battle, and they have to keep backing it. Like there's just so much more of like an actual like choreographed battle in this versus like stuff like Endgame where it's
yeah, and
it's
that's
super cool to watch, but it really is just a lot of explosions and like hype things happening versus like actually crazy story things happening
right.
for an hour like this.
Right, exactly, and the fact that it took 22 movies to reach that point in Endgame,
Yeah,
whereas like Lord of the Rings, dude,
one
this
other
is the
one.
second movie. I mean, this is a fucking second movie in the trilogy. There's nothing prior to that, and it blows my mind, man. And I don't know about you guys, but I thought Two Towers looked a lot more IMAXy
It did.
than Fellowship. It looked really fucking good. Like it looked insanely good.
It
So
did. I feel
yeah,
like to follow up too on what you were saying, like I feel that Two Towers, I feel like Lord of the Rings in general does this amazing, like they do character building so amazing to where, yeah, they make you care about characters within one movie that's telling such a grand story. So first of all, I will always love that about it. But second, I feel like if you compare the end battle with like Marvel or anything like that, it's like it's normal people here. And so it's something about that when you see normal people doing badass stuff, like they're just really good people and really good at what they do, but they don't have superpowers. There's something about that just makes it cooler. Like seeing him throw Gimli
I
just like
love that
to
part, dude.
attack a bunch of orcs
I love that.
onto the bridge, and then they
Don't tell
both just jump
Legolas.
there and start just like tearing it up, and you're just like, holy shit, this is so cool, and not what I would have expected at all from two people who aren't like superheroes.
Yeah.
But it's something that's so charming that when they do stuff like that, I love it.
No,
So
absolutely.
clearly I love this movie.
Right.
But
No,
yeah,
100%
so
agree on that.
we might as well dive in because I want to talk about all the stuff that happens
Yes.
in it. Like you were saying, so we got, I think, like 3 main storylines to follow. It's like the Merry and Pippin storyline, the Frodo, Samwise, and Smeagol / Gollum.
Yeah.
You know what I'm starting to realize about myself?
What?
Like, I love that. I love when movies have those 3 storylines, like, or when the characters actually get split up. You know what I mean? And I think that ends up being like a thing that a lot of people don't like as much. Like, they want everybody to be like together.
I
and
think
I just always love
there's
it.
a
Think
right
about-
way to do that, though.
Yeah, but think about like
I
I
mean-
love The Last Jedi, Star Wars when it happens, and even Empire. I love this, and I guess that's it. So I don't know if maybe I had no point here.
But it's still like really good when you can have them all be compelling, because sometimes you find it where you don't care as much getting back to a specific story.
Right,
You're just like,
right.
oh, I only want to. Which, granted, I always would rather just follow like the Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli story,
Those are the
the
best.
like trio of the century. That's what I would say. That's
As a
what
kid, I
would
was the
call
same.
them.
As a kid, I was the same way. Because I mean, dude, Smeagol used to scare the fuck out of me growing up. But
It's pretty
like,
grotesque.
but what? No. Like, I used to find it, and I still do. Like, even watching it yesterday, it's very unsettling. Like, even him and Frodo, their interactions and stuff, and obviously him and Sam. As a kid, dude, it just creeped the fuck out of me. It was very
He's a
unsettling. Yes, it
fucking
was
creepy
unsettling.
dude. I mean, come on,
Well,
look at
yeah,
him.
but yesterday it was unsettling for I think another reason, and it's because I think maybe like the adult me after having seen many movies realized like, wait, Smeagol is just a reflection of how bad a person can get. And honestly, I think Frodo treats him one way, and then Sam treats him another, because Frodo can relate to the point Smeagol gets, and I think
Oh, yeah.
not only is he like trying to help him, and he's trying to find hope for himself. He's trying to know, because I think he kind of feels himself like on the inside just kind of leaning towards the ring, and he wants to know that there's hope, that no matter how bad it gets, there's always a way back. So that's why he was
Yeah.
trying to see if
Well, he
Smeagol.
pities him because
I,
he's
I
like,
don't I don't think it's that though.
I think he slightly or personally, I think he slightly pities him, because I think he pities him in the sense that the ring completely took over his life. Like, he was a normal man, and this object and this power completely turned him into this grotesque, like,
right.
animal like human. And so he pities him in the sense of like the fact that the ring could do that to someone.
I agree, but also at the same time, I think Frodo, like I said, was just he's trying to find hope, because I think on the inside he feels like, okay, shit, like this ring is starting to kind of take over, and
Yeah.
it's starting to affect me in ways like I didn't think it was going to. And I guess he's trying to think like, okay, maybe down the like the line, if I ever get like that, I just need to believe in something. I need to believe that there is a way back. I need to believe that there is hope. Whereas Sam, like he's got no interaction with the ring like that, so he's like
He
just
doesn't know. Yeah.
like fuck Smeagol, like fuck that dude.
And he's
You know?
also
This guy's
just
gonna act like this. Let's
he's-
fucking kick him out
Right.
He's
of the
also
river.
uber protective over Frodo. So like
He is. Yeah.
I like that they show that
Mr.
a lot
Frodo.
in this movie.
Wow.
That was bad. That was really
That-
bad.
That was
that
I
accent.
was that was like Spanish or something.
Yeah, that was not good.
Yeah,
at
that was
all. But
Irish,
yeah,
guys.
no, man,
Mr.
he,
Mr. Frodo.
He's
Mr.
not
Frodo.
Irish.
Fargo.
Omar's was really good.
Damn, really? Thanks, man. Fucking dude, Jade hates. So I after watching season 1 of Fargo, I walked around. I was like, "Hello, welcome to Fargo," and she hated whenever I'd say that, dude. I was saying it for like a good month straight.
When I'm watching
But,
Fargo, I'm
Jade.
really like in the zone, and I can do those accents pretty good. But
Love that
But
shit,
yeah,
man.
but,
But now no.
now it's too embarrassing to even try. But no, I'll say that when Frodo finally has the line in the movie where I think it's when him and Sam are talking, right? And he's just like, because I have to believe that you can come back from this.
Yeah.
Because he feels that the ring's doing the same thing to him. And I thought that was really cool, because it does show that that's maybe why he's a little bit more like lenient on Smeagol.
Exactly.
And just
Right.
like he sees himself a little bit. Like he sees this could be the future that I have, because if who the fuck knows how many more times I'm gonna have to put the ring on, and
Hmm.
this thing's gonna get into me. So yeah, I really liked that, and it definitely does have like bigger connotations about just how you can treat people, the same little monster devil. And
Hmm.
it's just like,
I
treat him with respect and like believe in hope, or unfortunately Sam's such a nice guy, but yeah, he just kind of shits on Smeagol. And
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, I
see, but
liked all
it's
that
like
too.
I get it though. Like I don't get it. Like I think he's too cruel at some point, but I do like that they show like Sam just being super protective. I just
Oh
like
yeah.
that about it because like their friendship is so important throughout this movie, and I also really appreciate when you get to the point where like Gollum turns into Smeagol because you see the two different sides
Yes.
of the character,
That was
and you
wild.
finally get to pity him
Hey,
like yourself.
were his eyes two different sizes during that scene, or was I just like bugging out?
You were
It might
probably
have been
bugging.
because
I
it's
don't know.
CGI and it could have been a
Yeah.
mistake, but
I don't know. I didn't
you
realize.
just notice random
It might
shit
have
like
just
that.
been a little bit more squinty, but I was like, when the Gollum side, that's the evil side, right?
Mhm.
Help me. So he was
Yeah.
more, his eyes seemed like super like huge, and then when it was Smeagol talking, it was like a little more squinty. And
Well,
Well, yeah,
yeah,
they
he
like,
squints
probably
because like
do.
out of fear and just out of like
yeah,
he's a bit
Well,
more
to show
like
the two different personalities
of
too.
course.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah.
so
Um
it
Yeah,
makes
I
sense.
figured that was
I
it.
want to go back to what you said where you were talking about Sam and Frodo and just their relationship and the fact that they were showing a lot of on screen. And this is what I was talking to you guys about earlier. The anime that I'm watching, Jujutsu Kaisen or however you pronounce it. Um, there's one scene. So it's a weird anime. I'm not even gonna try to explain it, but it pretty much has a lot to do with curses. Like you've got curses that you can use to fight and stuff.
Mhm.
And to master your emotions, you've got to like master your emotions to use the curses. And when they're training like the main character, they literally have him watch a bunch of emotional movies. And he can't like interact in an emotional way, or he's got to like keep his emotions in check while having the curse. If he doesn't, if he like gets too sad or too happy or whatever, the curse attacks him. One of the scenes was from Fellowship with Sam and Frodo.
Damn.
Yes, when Frodo's about to leave and Sam follows him and like starts
Into the
drowning, whatever.
water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So I
damn.
That's
That's
love that
cool.
one.
awesome.
Yeah,
So wait, in the anime, do they actually show that scene like
Sam and Frodo.
animeified?
Yes, and
Oh,
it's
that's
so
cool.
fucking
Oh,
cool.
that's so
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
cool.
yeah.
What's this called
I'm gonna
again?
look
Spoiler
that
alert.
up.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
He's only told us to watch it like 1,000 times.
Yeah, and I
I've
was
never
hoping you
heard of
guys
it.
would since it won Anime of the Year, but we'll
Holy
see.
shit,
We'll
dude!
get to
Really?
it eventually.
Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Anime of the year?
Dog, okay, fuck this.
It's
No,
it's okay. But we're going back to Frodo and Sam.
Yes, yes. I want to talk about Gandalf real quick because that's how the movie opens
Gandalf the
up.
White. That's who you mean?
Oh my god,
Gandalf the White, dude.
that scene
I
is
know,
so
right? I
sick in
completely
the
forgot about
beginning.
it. I completely forgot about that scene.
I love
Incredible,
when
man.
it's like you don't even know it's a dream. You really think you're just it's so crazy. I kind of forgot it was a dream too until we were watching it cuz like the whole time I'm just thinking, "Oh, they're doing that weird thing that TV shows do, which is they recap what happened in the last movie."
Oh,
And I was like, "Oh, that's like a weird way to
yeah,
start this
yeah.
movie off. I don't remember that." And then it's a dream.
Like, Gandalf
Inevitably,
lives.
but like him falling, like that shot of him falling with like the demon in like slow-mo into that cave. Oh my
So
god.
cool.
That might be my favorite shot of the
How
movie.
how did it look that good though? Like this many years later, it's almost 20
I
years
mean, this
later.
movie was in 2000 freaking 2. I do not understand
How
how
does it look?
it's still this great,
I
honestly.
don't understand, dude. No, I'm telling you, like I really feel like, and I guess I don't remember Fellowship, even though we saw it like a week and a half ago. I mean, I went through a whole
Have a
snowstorm,
simple
as you guys
mind.
know, so I start forgetting things. But no, to me, Fellowship, as good as it looked, you could still kind of tell, like, okay, this was remastered for IMAX, or. But with like, dude, Two Towers looks like it was almost shot in IMAX.
It
Like it
does.
looks
I
really
feel like
good.
I noticed more of like an HDR effect during this too, like the lighting of everything outside, and it could have just been more stuff filmed more of like a
Hmm.
sunset kind of thing, but in particular, all that stuff looked a lot better. Like the coloring, I thought made it look
Yeah.
even more like a modern movie, like you're saying. Um,
Yeah.
it
The
also could be
CGI was
that
still a little CGI.
Yeah, with some
yeah,
things,
But
right,
that's
right.
something
that
you can't
rope,
really help.
that grapple hook or whatever during the fight at the end, I was like, Jesus,
I'm more thinking of that
this looks like
scene
somebody's arm
where
just extending.
I think I know what you're talking
I'm
about.
thinking
With the
of the
horse.
scene with
Yes, that too.
Legolas where he
Yes, with
goes
the
to
horse,
like
dude.
to get on the horse every
That
time.
looks so fucking
You
weird.
know,
Every damn
too.
time.
You know, when they were making this movie and they were like editing it and putting that together, they were like, "This is fucking badass. Like, this
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
so good."
That's the
And
thing,
then
the
it's
I'm
action
sure.
he's doing is badass. It
It's
just
really
looks so
cool.
wonky.
yeah. Um,
But I forgive it.
I will say
It's
though,
still cool.
so the CGI, obviously, when it's in more like action shots like that, I feel like that's when you see the age. But I think Gollum slash Smeagol like still looks pretty good. Like
Yeah,
I thought
I
so,
thought so
yeah.
too.
for a movie this old, like he could have looked like really, really bad. And I don't know if they
Mhm.
touched him up at all when they're doing kind of like the 4K remakes of this, but like I thought he still looked pretty good and didn't really ever take me out of it. And
No,
yeah,
I
obviously he
also
looks a little old, but
I
it's not
also
bad.
forget how compelling the part at the end where he like he gets taken by those people who come
Yeah.
and like take Frodo and Sam hostage because they find out about the ring. And so he thinks that his master slash Frodo kind of turned on him. And then you see oh god, that's gonna haunt me. But he
Was
has
that
that part where he's like talking to himself. Well, he's talking to Gollum and Smeagol are like talking to each other at the end, where they're like plotting to kill Samwise or Frodo, both of them honestly. And I think that part's so cool because you can totally see how good of acting that is because he's like talking to himself but in two different characters.
Yes.
I don't know. I find that super compelling.
No, I thought it was super compelling, and honestly, dude, like I said, just after like, yeah, once you see it, I think many years later, and you just have more of an understanding. You almost like, I felt really bad for Smeagol because you could tell like he fears the other side of him, right? The
the
evil side,
Gollum
if you
side?
will.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Smeagol isn't evil. Like he's scared, he's lost, he's alone. And I think the ring had because even I forget Frodo's uncle, like his name from the
Bilbo?
Hobbit movies. Yes, he had the
Fucking
ring for a
Bilbo.
long time too,
Oh
right?
yeah.
But he was in the Shire. He had friends around him. He had a community,
Yeah, so it didn't
whereas
like turn him.
Smeagol. Right, right. And I mean, I'm sure it also has something to do with with who like who he was as a person and everything. But with Smeagol, it seems like from what I understood, and I don't know if I missed something, he's in complete isolation, right?
Yeah, it was
So I
just
Well,
him
think
and the
the
yeah.
ring.
Plus, he also got like captured and tortured.
right,
So
right, right. So I think yeah, it's like man, like Smeagol isn't like he really did believe okay, Frodo's my master. I fully trust him. And it's just
yeah,
like this completely other side to him that like he has no control over. And I
I
think yeah, I
found it.
love
Yeah.
what
No, I'm just agreeing with you.
I
I
was just
just
gonna
found
say.
it
Yeah,
way
I
more
just
compelling.
yeah, exactly. No, I just love yeah how like it's the same character talking back and forth, but it's like you feel like it's two completely like
Yeah,
yeah.
no,
No, I love
It's
that. I
just
love that.
impressive.
yeah,
Yeah.
that scene in particular with the back and forth y'all are talking about, that was really cool.
Hmm.
To like see, that's when you really, because the whole time he's saying we, and my
Yeah.
dumbass had already forgotten about stuff like that. But yeah, that kind of cleared that up for me, and I thought it was really cool.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Is that what you didn't know that?
No, I mean I've kind of forgotten that he has like that split
Oh,
split
Oh,
split
how'd you feel
personality thing
about
going.
seeing Boromir's brother?
He looked a lot like Boromir.
He
And
did,
a lot of the same
right?
fucking problems. Everybody sees this ring and they're just like,
yeah.
this can
I-
save my people. And it's like, no. I'm glad Sam just looked at him and was like, look, your brother's fucking dead because he tried
Yeah.
to kill Frodo because the ring was speaking to him or some shit. Like, let us go. Just
I
let
don't-
us
I
go.
don't-
We're just going to kill this ring and we're going to be done with all this.
I don't really remember, but was he of the Rahan people, or whatever? Is that what he was? or
I
no?
had so many
Rohan?
questions. I even in my notes had a little part where I was like, I'm going to ask you guys some questions about
I don't.
the towns and shit because I get
Yeah,
confused.
because I don't remember.
So
But
that's always my problem with this movie, and I guess it's because I mostly watched it when I was in high school,
Mhm.
and so I wasn't like that focused on it. But that used to be the thing that I would get so confused about with when you see the two children leave.
oh,
And then it
yeah.
flashes onto this kingdom, and then like in my head, I'm like, oh, that's them grown up.
I
don't know
100%
why.
thought that
I
as a
used
kid.
to always
Yes.
think that as a kid, and then like I
Wait,
knew it
I
wasn't
what?
that.
What? Hold on. I was trying to Google this. What happened? What's with the
So you remember that scene where like the orcs are coming and like destroying that village, and that mom sends her two kids on a horse
Yes.
to this escape. So it cuts from them escaping to this castle where there's a girl and a boy grown up. And
Oh.
I when I was younger, I used to always be like, oh, that's those kids. It's like a flash forward. Like that was a flashback kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
And
did
then
too.
I would think that forever, and then you'd
Then
get to the
they-
point where the kids show up on the horse, and you're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
I
I
would
thought
be
the
like,
same thing.
whoa. So,
we
but
messing
I
with
knew that
time
was
now?
gonna happen this time, but I still was like, kind of spotty on the names of the towns. It would get me confused because you're focusing on like, I think Boromir's brother is like one place, and I can't remember the name of it. And then there's the castle that they were all at, and they're supposed to all team up at some point. But it always escapes me which name is which. I
So
can't remember.
What were you
But the
asking where
castle
they're
is
from?
no. Well, I was saying, are they the people of Rohan or whatever? Because
I
I
can't
think the
remember which
castle
one's
is.
which.
It's
If
the
it's
men
the
of
castle, then
Gondor.
Rohan.
Okay,
Then, yeah,
okay,
no,
Gondor.
he's not.
Yeah, Rohan.
'Cause he's
Yeah,
not with the
Rohan was
castle.
right. The castle was because I thought the whole theme that they created for the Rohan or whatever, like the actual musical theme. I don't know if you guys like remember it.
Oh no,
It was
it was phenomenal.
so fucking good. Yeah.
The score in this in general is
hmm
phenomenal. Like my God, there's
It
like
just feels
this.
like mighty. It just feels like hype, I guess.
There's
If
this
that's
like
one way to
one
describe it.
song
It
they would
is.
keep playing. It's like this Celtic-y, like Irish jig type of
Yeah, I
song.
know what you're saying.
I
Yes.
don't
This
know
Irish
why,
jig.
but it would play often, and I every time it played, I loved that. I was trying to find the music. I was trying to find that song, and in my like slumber was like Googling, and all I could think of is like Irish jig,
Oh.
Celtic, Lord of the Rings. Like that's all. That's like what I typed in.
The album's like fucking. Oh, it's 45 songs. I was listening to it earlier. I was like, it probably is 100.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's
45?
huge. 45, my
Holy
dude.
shit. That's
The
crazy.
music is always just so great. My
Yeah.
brother kept sending us before we were going to see this movie. He kept sending me and Matt links to like the YouTube videos of like when they went to like the name's escaping me. When they went to the elves like
Elf Town.
place. It's not Elf Town. God, it's gonna drive
Oh,
me nuts.
Elf
Like,
City?
no, y'all
Yes.
are worse.
Elvendale.
Anyway, it is no, it's not that.
It honestly sounds like I don't know.
Anyway,
sounds like something
the
that would
people
exist.
who will actually listen to this will know what I'm talking about. But like the music to
Comment,
go
people,
there,
and correct
it's like
us.
beautiful. So yeah, but that's all I was gonna say.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's crazy that I mean they're creating these things that are just brand new to us, right? When you first see it, like Matthew, yesterday when you saw it, all like everything aside from when you fucking watch this movie, like for the first
Don't worry,
however long
Omar.
you end
Apparently,
up
I did a
watching.
pretty good job of blocking all that out.
Well, that's good,
'Cause
but yeah,
I
for
remembered
someone
so little.
experiencing this for the first time, all this is new to you, and for you to experience these new things that are completely made up, these races, these creeds that are completely made up, these towns that you've never heard of before, and for everything to have its theme, like its own music, its own vibe, its own like they're all dressed in a different way, and I just think that's incredible, man,
It
because it's
is.
like
It
it's such a
feels.
huge scale of
It just
That's what
feels
this movie
real.
does the best. It
Like
Right,
that's
turns.
right.
when you put that much effort into like these towns and cities, and there's all these different races, and like you said, like music and themes that surround them all too. Like yeah, they just straight up feel real. And you
Oh,
want to know everything
speaking
about
of
them.
races, how did you feel about the Ents, the trees with
Oh,
Merry
they
and
were
Pippin?
fucking cool. They were.
Did you remember those?
I did, because remember I was
Okay.
asking Bailey after this because the when I watched these originally, I watched the extended cuts in 2 parts, a week apart each one. Why did we do it? I don't know.
Nonsense.
So it was like we watch half the movie and then the next half after. But I remember a scene with Merry and Pippin in the what are they called? Ents? Tree men?
Yeah. It's ENT, like Ents.
Yeah, and like they were in the position they were on him when they're kind of like sitting on him in this movie, but they were in like a cave, I thought. And I'm trying to think, was that something from the extended cut that was not in this
I
movie?
haven't been telling him anything just because I don't. If he doesn't remember and it's in the last movie, I want him to like see it. In the
Oh.
last
Yeah, it could just
movie.
be in Return
So
of the
that's
Wait,
more
have you
just why I
started the
haven't
last
said
movie?
anything.
Yeah, we watched
He
the first
started.
half.
He watched the first half
Son
and
of
then
a
never finished
bitch,
it.
First half of the
dude.
extended
Yeah.
cut. Don't
So
worry, I
Why
remember.
would you ever do that with
He has
Lord of the
no
Rings?
idea how these movies end.
Gosh.
All I remember from that is that I think it's that one, unless it was this one and it was stuff that got cut. But don't Sam and Frodo start having a fucking laugh? No, but don't they
Just
start
you
hating
wait,
each other?
man. This fucking movie, dude. I can't fucking wait, dude. It's gonna
But
blow
That's
my
all I
I
mind.
feel
remember.
like the stuff with Merry and Pippin is so it's like the most lighthearted of
Yes,
all of
yeah,
this
yeah.
stuff, and I enjoy that because this is such a darker story compared to the first one. Like with the amount of like deaths and everything that's happening, and like the fight at the end, honestly, is kind of terrifying in the beginning when they're losing. I'm like the orcs and they all look awful. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I'd want to just like off myself.
I
before
wrote
they
that
had a
down. I was
chance
like,
to.
the orc army is legitimately fucking terrifying.
It
like,
is terrifying.
And when,
how do you
when they
make
show
an
you how they're
army
making them,
badass?
dude? so
Oh
fucking
yeah,
Yeah.
they
Oh
come
disgusting.
out of
God,
the black
yeah.
goo.
Just how they're
Cringy, man.
birthed. I was like, I didn't think we were
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
see this, and I'm really glad we did.
It's
Um,
straight up like black placenta.
oh
It's
Oh
God,
god.
yeah.
disgusting.
But no, and then I hate to keep comparing this to Game of Thrones and that Battle of Winterfell, but again, for them to make all these comparisons to that when they were filming Game of Thrones and like this, I mean, the Orc army to me is much more terrifying than how the White Walkers look and come off in that battle too, which is again that it just heightened everything. Like you were just amped going into this fight because it was so terrifying, and it is what 10,000 versus 300. Like how the
Yeah.
fuck do you manage that? And it was. I don't know, man. I really I might just get when we finish recording this. I might just go watch that last hour again.
See, and that's the thing. Like now that we're already
good.
talking about this
Fucking
last
good.
battle, we need to just talk about it. But all the entrances, but like the people who make an entrance in the battle, like when the elves come and the way they come to kind of fight with them
They
is
look so cool.
cool. I used to think that part was the coolest whenever I saw this. But then you get freaking Gandalf riding down in
Yeah,
his
dude.
flaming glory on his white
Just
horse.
beams of light just
And
shining
that
through the
shot
IMAX
Remind me of
theater.
when
Like,
Thor
oh my
came in
God.
with Rocket and Groot in
Oh,
Infinity War.
yeah.
Yeah,
God.
remind me a
But
lot
like
of that.
even better in a
That's
sense,
probably
Yeah,
the
of
only
course,
thing
yeah.
as hype as that.
it's like one of those things where like the shot they do where it's
Yeah.
like you see it all happening and then they have that wide shot where it's just both of them like they're coming down the hill. I'm just
Mhm.
oh my
The
gosh.
more I watch
it's
movies,
so
guys,
beautiful.
the more I realize how much I just love like just massive wide shots like that when something cool is happening. Like show how epic something is. And I feel like
Right,
that's why
right.
that scene works so much because it's just you see Gandalf and that whole army in a beam of fucking light and they are just coming down this just massive like mountain slope at the army
Yeah.
directly and you're not seeing all these like cut together things and stuff. It's just like you see the whole fucking thing and it looks awesome.
Unfortunately, man, like I said, I just, and this is my opinion, I just don't feel. In the past 20 years, there hasn't been anything as epic or anything on such a scale. Even, dude, after you guys mentioned like the Harry Potter movies, I was really thinking about it. I love those movies. They're so fucking fun,
They're
but
not
they
this
were never
though.
really that epic, you
No.
know?
And that's the
It
thing.
just,
It's more. It's like harder to even compare them because I feel like
right,
they're
right, right.
so childlike.
I
Which
definitely
is probably I'm probably insulting things, and I'm not trying to.
No,
But
but
like,
A little hurtful.
you do have a point. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like it's
Not
supposed to
even-
be. That's how it was made.
well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, because you said a couple weeks ago, Bailey, how it's hard to even compare the two. But I feel like there's enough similarities where people compare them. But I get what you're saying because Lord of the Rings is this just epic, just
It's such a
grand
grand scale,
thing.
yeah.
Right.
Whereas Harry Potter has an epic story going on, but I feel like each of the movies are a little more self-contained and are a little bit
Exactly,
more about
exactly.
like a certain thing happening and more individual villains and stuff like that.
Right.
And it does build to something massive at the end.
That's you see,
but-
and that's what this movie does so well. It
This could have
makes
been the
you-
end.
but-
This could,
well, no, what
aside
I'm
from the story
saying-
stuff, this could have been the end.
No, it can't, and you'll realize that with the next movie.
I'm
but
not watching Return of the King. I'm stopping
Fuck
here. 'Cause
that.
This was too
Fuck
good.
Wait,
Nah.
I don't
all
want
I'm
my hopes and
saying-
dreams let down.
All I'm saying is this movie did so well with showing what the people were going through. So you really felt like this was a world-ending thing.
Mhm.
It's not like you just hear that this is a world-ending thing and that everybody's gonna die kind of thing, and then they show it by showing all the like these different groups of like men like fighting because men is
Man.
what's gonna go extinct. So that's the thing, like that the race of man
And
that's
all
what
of
they're
Middle Earth,
calling
like
it.
having to
So-
make that decision, like, do we step up to fight for like mankind?
Mhm.
Because that's
Yeah.
even the whole argument
Oh,
that the
God,
trees
and then-
had.
It's so crazy how like they just go through this entire battle and then Gandalf's like, now it's the fight for Middle
Yeah,
Earth, and you're like,
yeah, yeah.
oh shit,
That
like,
just
this is-
started.
Let's
How the
fucking
fuck?
go, dude. Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
So
Gandalf
excited.
better not be overhyping this. Like, you better not be telling me like it's just
Dude,
begun.
Return of
Really?
the King is gonna blow your fucking mind.
I'm
mate.
ready
See,
for it, dude.
and,
I
like,
hope.
all the stuff that we see in this last battle, I feel like this whole podcast should just be about the last battle. But when you're seeing all the like the choreography for the fighting and stuff, when from a movie from 2002, I'm just like, this is sick. Like it's awesome.
So I think you were in the restroom when I was talking to them about this. I did a little research before we went to see the movie, and apparently that last fight was shot over. There was over 20 hours of footage
Holy
of
shit!
that last fight, and they had to literally bring it down to that 1 hour.
But it's
Yeah.
so
It's
good.
insane.
Yeah, no, it's
Insane.
insanely good,
And
and I
that's why-
think
I wanted to say all the stuff with Gimli and Legolas where they like I used
Yeah.
to think this was so cool when I was younger. I was like, this is the coolest thing in this movie that they're counting their kills and like
Oh.
competing. I thought it was so cool. And now I'm like, okay, Bailey,
That
calm
one
down.
counts for me. That's so
But
good.
I think it's so clever because they always find like ways to sneak in some type of humor in
Mhm.
such a dark moment, but it works really well because it's not over humored, like if
I
Right.
that
feel
makes
like
sense.
this movie makes you love the three of them. Like the last movie, all of them are cool.
Yeah.
And it's also because these movies have existed forever. I just know everyone's like, Aragorn's amazing. It's like, okay, yeah, he seems awesome. This is the movie where you actually like have reason to actually love these characters. Like even Gimli, like I would have never thought that I like would love and care about him so much. And like this movie, he legitimately is just cool and funny and fucking fun to be around. And the like bromance that the three of them have together is just
Mhm.
like it's just a good time, dude. Like at the beginning of the movie when they're just running together, the three of them tracking
Yeah, I
Merry and
love that,
Pippin,
dude.
like every time the three of them are just running through the mountains, it's hype as hell. Like it's so good.
I love how literally their main mission was to find those two, right?
Yeah.
Because they didn't need them. It's at that point they're literally it's like this is the perfect fucking follow up form the fellowship where you see okay this isn't like okay we know these guys it sucks that they're gone let's
Rest
there's
in
a
peace,
fucking ring
guys.
we've got to chase no like there's a real connection there and then it makes it feel that much more real and it makes it feel that
Well,
much more relatable
and
you
that's
know
what I feel like these characters have so much more heart than a lot of characters that you see in other movies. I don't know
yes
how or why it feels that way, but it does. Like Gimli, Legolas, and Aragorn are all people who you can tell care so much about
right
whatever the fuck they're doing at the
right
time. And I love that. And I think it works really well with this movie. And hence, that's why I think everybody, like these movies go down in history kind
And I
of.
yeah
think
it's because
that's
it means a lot more
and
right
I think that's probably why as a trilogy they're so strong too, because they strengthen each other. Because everything y'all are
right
saying about how they're hunting for like to save these two hobbits that like, they could just go on their path for the ring, right? They don't have to do that.
hmm
So that just shows you why I guess like the fellowship of the ring is such this tight bond. And so the movie we
exactly
just watched before this was seeing that whole thing form, and now we see how intense of a
right
bond that is. It's like, yeah, that makes me just want to go rewatch Fellowship now and see that
exactly
again. So
Plus,
yeah
they
that's
keep
good movie
showing
making, man.
Aragorn and like how good of a king he could be, and how everybody respects him so much. And I
Is
don't
he the
know,
king? Is he Return of the King? Is he
Return
the
of the
king?
King dude
well,
He's the
we'll
king.
see. But all I'm saying is
I'm just waiting
Frodo
for
he,
like the king.
the main king.
Yeah,
It
like the
comes down, he's
character
just
of the king.
Gandalf
That's who
again.
we're
He's like
meeting.
Gandalf the Red or something. He's just king.
Dude,
Oh
that'd
my
be
I'm
cool.
goodness.
kidding.
I can't believe you just went there.
That'd be cool.
I'm just saying.
Jesus.
But
I
all I'm
also
saying is he's shown like his character I think has so much growth in this too because he has those moments where he's having to like completely protect an entire like group of people and get the king to do what the king needs to do. Like I thought it was so cool at that part in the battle where they're breaking through on the bridge and Aragorn comes and like just jumps into the hole that they're breaking through, and then the king is saying he needs them to stall, and he goes, "How much time do you need?" And the king's like, "As much as you'll give me." And then he
just
just like
fucking
ends up
goes.
throwing Gimli and all that shit. Like it's just so cool.
I will say too, I loved the part in the battle where where Legolas is shooting at the orc that's just running straight towards the gate wall with the what
Oh
does he have? Some
yeah.
kind of like explosive thing in
He's
his hand?
about to. Well, he has the fire to light the bombs to
Okay,
blow
okay.
the wall up,
I just
and
think
that's where he was trying to kill him.
I thought that moment was just so well done too, and it was so intense. And I
It was.
love I love things in movies where like the good guys just even when it's a little thing when they actually like mess up or
Lose
lose.
or whatever.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, so I thought that was just really cool because that whole part was tense as hell, and then like he doesn't actually kill him in time to but, like he still lights the bomb and it all just blows up and like
hmm
I you can ask Bailey because I was sitting right next to her. I like audibly gasped. I was like, it was
It-
probably a little more man. I was like,
no,
but it
it
was
sounded exactly
Whoa.
like that.
whoa, dude.
He was like, and then he fanned himself. He was really nervous.
Aw, that's cute.
But then you get that awesome shot of Legolas like throwing a shield on the ground and then just sliding down
God,
these stairs,
just
like
surfs
hitting
down there.
everybody with
Yeah, dude.
arrows.
He's
Oh,
just so like
he's
slick
so
with it,
cool.
man. He's so fucking smooth.
Yeah.
I wanna ask you this, Matt, just because
Lay it on
we've
me.
seen the movie.
Clearly.
We know what to expect. We know what's coming. We know who's returning. You, as let's say, you remember nothing from Return of the King, right?
I really
What
don't.
what are you expecting from Return of the King, or what do you hope to see?
What do I hope to see? I imagine that in Return of the King, we're gonna get more Frodo and Sam than we did in this movie because we didn't get a lot in this one.
So do you still think we're gonna go like with the whole 3 to 4 plots, or you think it's gonna be more like, I don't know, 2 plots? Like,
Oh
okay,
man,
there's the big fight happening on the side, and then here's Sam and Frodo
I think more too,
trying to finish the
closer to
shit.
2, closer to getting back
Okay,
together, right? Because there's
okay,
some stuff has been resolved. I would imagine Merry and Pippin are about to reunite with
The
um
trio.
the trio, I think. But again, yeah, so I don't know. But that's the thing. That's to me, this movie was so like the battle. This felt like obviously take it out of the context of the story because I
yeah,
know there's still stuff that it needs to happen in the story, but like I can't picture a battle more insane than this one. And so I don't know if that's where the route they're going. I don't know what happens next in terms
mhm,
of. I mean, they say the battle for Middle Earth is just beginning. I'm expecting there's going to be something crazier, but yeah, I guess I do kind of think it's going to go closer to two stories again.
okay,
That's where I'm at. But
I got you.
I don't have set in. Here's what I'll say. I think it'll be really hard for me to be disappointed now. Like I think it'll be
Yeah,
really fucking
Oh
hard.
yeah. If you're all in on this story, you're not
right.
going to be disappointed. And
Yeah.
even if it ends in the way you didn't want it to, I don't think you'd be
Yeah, I think
disappointed.
I'm just knowing that obviously that the third one is just as good from what everybody
Well,
says. I think
you
I don't have necessarily like I'm starting to get attached to these characters. I definitely love them, but it's not the thing of like when I was watching like the newest Star Wars trilogy and you
of
want
course,
something to
yeah.
happen in the last movie, stuff like that. Like you have 2 years to think about it. Like I'm really just down for wherever they go with this,
Right,
and I'm
and that's the
so
thing.
excited to see it.
The reason I thought it was interesting is because you said, Two Towers could have like really ended here. I mean, this could have ended, the journey really. Um, and I think that's interesting because like Return of the King is what I think it's another.
Three
I think it's
hours,
close to
right?
3 hours and 20 minutes,
Yeah.
right? It's
Oh
the
my
Oh,
longest one, I
god,
want to say. No,
it is.
it's a long movie. It's a very
Yeah.
long movie. So we still have a whole ass journey ahead of us, and
I can't believe.
just that's the thing, and that's why I find it interesting is because like you think we reached a point where like things could have legit kind of ended, but you just have no idea
I
what's
don't
out there,
know,
Well, and
man.
bro.
that's the
You
I
thing when
don't
you
know.
think about Sauron and Saruman and all of
yeah,
that aspect, like, so he just like essentially lost his troops kind of thing
hmm,
because of like the Ents like that was
right,
such a cool part too where they like come and they wash everything away pretty much because
hmm,
I always loved real quick. I know I'm like I go on about these Ents way too freaking much, but
The trees, I
the
love the
whole
trees.
well, that's the thing in the beginning in the first movie, it's like every time you see them doing anything with the orcs, they're always like chopping down and burning trees, like
hmm,
from the very first movie. So when you get to this point, you're like, damn, the trees got their retribution kind of thing, which I think is really cool. It's like it's so small but so cool at the same time.
yeah,
But I feel like with that happening and like Sauron obviously doing whatever the stupid eye is doing, but I feel like the worst hasn't even come from them yet, kind of thing. Like we're only seeing what the army's doing.
hmm,
So just keep that in mind is what I'm saying.
So I have a question.
yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
Is Sauron? Is he just an eye? Like, is that all he is? Or like,
As far as you're concerned, yes.
okay, all
So
right,
and we'll just leave it there.
just leave it there.
I
Well,
I don't want to answer any questions like that until the movies are over, I
that's
guess,
fine.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to give anything. Like if there's something that you learn in the movie that I told you beforehand, I'm gonna be pissed at myself.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
No,
no.
that's
So
I
fair.
want you to learn in the movie.
The reason why I asked is just because not knowing if that's all he is. I was gonna say like it's crazy too that at the end of the second movie in the trilogy we haven't even really gotten like a look at the actual villain, like the whole overarching enemy.
Oh,
But again, if
Matthew.
he is just an eyeball, then I guess we have seen him a couple
yeah,
Oh,
times.
he's just an
Matthew.
eyeball. That's what
Oh,
he is.
Matthew, you really don't know anything about this last movie,
I
Yeah,
apparently.
don't. I
I'm.
don't.
I
It's
really thought you might have known something, but
You
it's
know, I got another
true, you
question.
don't.
Another
Go
question for
ahead.
you guys. Interesting name, the Two Towers, because I feel like that's not really like super like they don't make a big point of like that's not a huge part of the movie.
Well, they say there's two towers because there's like one with Saruman and then the Eye. Like that's two separate towers.
Right. But like they're not really like
Yeah,
The
I guess it's
battle's
like,
not at the towers or anything like that. But trust me, I'm not even saying I don't like it because that's a cool ass name. But I just found that interesting.
well, no, I mean, I always was confused about that too. At the end, when they show the volcano in the tower, like when I first saw that movie, I was like, oh, it's the two towers.
Well,
Oh,
it's
there they
it's
are.
also the second movie in the trilogy. Two towers.
Two
Made
towers.
in
We saw it on a
2002,
Tuesday.
triple
Just
There you
two,
kidding.
go.
Saw it on a Sunday.
quadruple
Triple
two.
two. What?
Triple
Well,
two.
because it's like
Triple T.
2002, and then the two towers,
2002
made in
Oh,
two towers.
2002. We saw it on a Tuesday.
holy shit! That's like six. Oh,
I
we're on to
honestly
something.
think I think we might die soon because of that. Like I think
Jesus,
that's like a
dude.
once
Too
in a
many
lifetime
dots
thing.
connected.
No, I'm kidding. But no, I feel like I'm so happy you love this movie because when I was younger, this was my favorite. I always told everyone this was my favorite. But I am so motherfucking excited with the fact that you know nothing about this last movie apparently. So it's gonna be great. I'm super excited for that.
I'm super excited too. I cannot wait.
So I guess to wrap this up, since we might as well at this point.
I I wrote a couple things down. I want to make sure I talked
Okay,
about
go
them all
ahead.
because
Sorry.
they were. I think I basically did though. Um, I will I will say I must have like actually just totally missed the part where Aragorn like falls off the cliff during that battle, kind of in the middle. Because like they're obviously like fighting or whatever, and then somebody's like, "What happened to Aragorn?" And he's like, "I think he's dead or he fell off a cliff." And I was like, "Wait, what? No, he's just right there a second ago." I don't know if I like looked down at my
So
popcorn
did
or
you
something.
not? So he did the like he was on those like hounds, like those hyena dog bull
Mm-hmm.
things that were there. He was like attached to one, like his arm was stuck, and then he
Uh,
killed like the orc that was on top of it, but it kept like riding and then jumped. It like fell off the cliff with
I
him
legitimately
on
must
it.
have just looked down for a second and just totally fucking missed that because I have to go
Yeah,
back and rewatch that because yeah, I was like, wait, he fell, and then
he fell, but he
obviously,
fell into like a river. So
yeah,
that's when
and he
you
was
know
okay.
it. You know, oh, that boy's coming back.
um, I also wrote on here, Liv Tyler's dad needs to fuck off and let her love, man, because that's just one of those things where, like, I don't know. I also really wanted to say that I like the kind of subtle romance that he had with the
Yeah,
king dude's
the blondie.
niece. Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like that was really cool and handled well, especially just the little. Like when she would see the necklace and then just kind of back
Mhm.
off, and you could see like how she was a little nervous and didn't want to
Right.
overstep, and I think just getting a little bit more of a taste of that was good too.
Yeah, they don't overdo the romance stuff in these movies, which I appreciate.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like kind
Only
of just
because the story is so grand. So
It's about the bros, not the.
damn,
Whoa! Stop.
he didn't say it,
I did
but he
not.
did.
And then I also just wrote on here too that speech that Sam gives at the end about like why they fight. I mean, just
Oh,
fucking
so good.
Goosebumps, dude.
fucking great.
Yeah.
Especially like I said, how I feel like Sam and Frodo weren't like the forefront of this movie as much as
Mhm.
like I kind of just assume they're the main characters, and they're kind of not. Like they sort of are, but not really. Especially in this movie, they're not. And so I feel like for him to still have a moment that was like that, like weighty and important, and sums up exactly what's going on in this movie, and like I mean, god damn it, it kind of sums up the world at this point. Just
Right.
like why do you fight? Like if the world is this bad, why do you keep going? And it's like if you believe that there's any good out there, then you know you have to. And yeah, I really liked that speech at the end. I thought that was great, and
Sam, I feel like always ends up giving the best speeches in all
He
these
does.
movies.
and that recipe he had for the taters, pretty good too.
It was actually
Oh my
pretty
god,
good.
the
Yeah.
taters.
Yeah, that smell.
Yeah.
that,
He goes,
Dude,
that
I
does
laughed.
smell
He's
good.
I laughed when he said that.
Yeah.
He's like, stir them up, mash them up, stick them in a stew.
Stick
or
them in a
something.
stew.
Gotta love them taters.
Yeah. And I know that's basically it. I did have one other question I didn't ask y'all. And I'm assuming I know the answer to this. But at the very end, when Gollum's kind of like plotting or whatever, and the movie just kind of ends, he says her.
Yep.
I'm not supposed to know who her is yet.
You'll learn in the next
Okay.
movie, and y'all watching this will learn in the next episode.
Oh yeah.
Ha! I knew I was
Transition,
gonna have
baby.
a good transition. But just a reminder before we pop on off of this, if you want to watch us on Fridays, because that's when we do Fridays with Wanda and Vision, you definitely can. It's always on Fridays. We're gonna have coming up, continuing our countdown to the Snyder Cut. It's gonna be Batman versus Superman, BVS.
About
The
to
most
watch it right
important
after
movie
this.
we might discuss. Only because it's going to be so controversial. But that'll be up for you guys Thursday morning. So make sure you definitely tune into that. And is there anything else I'm missing with what's coming up, guys?
I don't
I
think
think
so.
that's good. I think we're golden with that. But
We'll have
always
Return of the
subscribe
King
and
probably
like.
next week. Next week, Tuesday
Yes.
morning.
Right, which I think I said that, but we'll definitely have that for next Tuesday, wrapping up the Lord of the Rings trilogy. What a sad moment. But don't forget to like us and subscribe to us and comment and leave recommendations and tell us what we've done wrong or right. I don't know. Do all of it. Leave us 5 stars. Listen to everything. Like us on our socials, which we'll have something on there eventually on Twitter at Again Press
Soon.
and Instagram at Press Play Again. Um,
And
but
don't
yeah,
get
until
sad,
then.
guys. Don't get sad, because guess what? We still have the Hobbit movies.
Oh
It's
God.
not over.
Okay.
It's really not.
Well, that'll be a discussion for
Can't
another
wait.
day. But until then, stay short.
I love you guys.